Have you ever paused, glass in hand on a quiet morning, and truly considered the journey that water takes through your body? For generations, we've been told that starting the day with a generous glass of water is a cornerstone of health, a simple ritual to cleanse, hydrate, and awaken our systems. And while the essence of this advice holds true, the unvarnished truth, especially for those of us navigating the richer experiences of life beyond 60, is that the how of this habit matters profoundly. What if that very act of morning hydration, performed with the best intentions, but without crucial awareness, could inadvertently be setting you up for a cascade of discomforts? From bloating and blood pressure fluctuations to digestive interference and even diminished nutrient absorption. This isn't about instilling fear or dismissing the vital role of water. Instead, this exploration is an invitation to look deeper, to understand the subtle yet significant ways our bodies, particularly as they mature, interact with this life-giving element. The reality is that certain common, almost reflexive morning water practices might be doing more harm than good. In this comprehensive discussion, we will unravel 5 prevalent misconceptions surrounding morning water consumption. These are the kinds of seemingly innocuous errors that, over time, can contribute to feeling less than your best. If you've ever experienced unexplained lightheadedness after your morning water, wondered why your stomach feels unsettled despite a clean diet, or simply haven't felt that promised morning boost, one of these overlooked factors might be the culprit. Prepare to discover what truly occurs within your body when you drink water upon waking, how it intricately affects your heart, your stomach, your metabolism, and why recalibrating these habits can lead to a profound improvement in your daily well-being. Stay with us, because the insights shared here have the potential not only to safeguard your health, but to fundamentally transform how you greet each new day for the rest of your life. 1. The deluge deception: drinking too much water too quickly on an empty stomach. One of the most ingrained habits, often adopted with zealous commitment to health advice, is the rapid consumption of a large volume of water immediately upon rising. The image is familiar. Feet hit the floor, and the first stop is the kitchen for a substantial glass, gulped down in haste. It seems like a virtuous act, rehydrating after a long night's fast. However, what many fail to recognize, particularly individuals over 60 whose physiological responses may be more nuanced, is that this sudden inundation of cool or room temperature water can send the body into a state of mild and sometimes not so mild shock. When your stomach is entirely empty after hours of rest, it's not primed to handle an abrupt flood of liquid. Your entire digestive system is, in essence, still in a gentle slumber, slowly stirring. Your blood pressure is naturally recalibrating as you transition from a prone to an upright position, and your circulatory system is shifting gears from a resting to an active state. Pouring a significant amount of water into this awakening system can disrupt its delicate rhythm. Think of a delicate ecosystem. A sudden torrent can cause more disturbance than nourishment. In some individuals, this rapid intake can trigger an unexpected spike in blood pressure. This is particularly pertinent for those managing pre-existing heart conditions or exhibiting vascular sensitivity, which can become more common with age. The mechanism here is multifaceted. Firstly, the sheer volume can distend the stomach rapidly, which can reflexively influence blood pressure. Secondly, if the water is cool, it can cause a degree of vasoconstriction, further challenging the circulatory system. Consider the analogy of a dry, compressed sponge. If you blast it with a powerful stream of water, much of it runs off. The sponge cannot absorb it efficiently until it has had a moment to soften and expand. Your stomach, and indeed your entire system, behave similarly. When water enters too quickly, it often transits through the stomach and upper digestive tract too rapidly, triggering a flush. Response before the body has adequate time to properly absorb the fluid or regulate its impact on osmotic balance and circulatory dynamics. This can lead to feelings of dizziness, a sense of being unpleasantly full, nausea, or a generally unsettled stomach. For those over 60, these sensations can be more pronounced and disconcerting. Moreover, older adults are often more susceptible to a condition known as orthostatic hypotension, a drop in blood pressure upon standing up. This occurs because the baroreceptors, which are sensors that detect changes in blood pressure and signal the body to adapt, may respond less efficiently with age. Adding a sudden, large fluid load into the vascular system while it's already working to manage this postural change can create a confusing pressure mismatch. You might feel faint, overly bloated, or even experience a sensation of mild chest discomfort, especially if there are underlying cardiovascular concerns. Ruth, a vibrant 71-year-old from Indiana, shared her experience. She was a firm believer in downing a full 16-ounce glass of water the moment she got out of bed, convinced it was aiding her digestion and flushing toxins. However, she began noticing a persistent pattern. Shortly after her morning water ritual, she would feel lightheaded, sometimes to the point of needing to sit down abruptly. Her doctor, after reviewing her habits, suggested a simple change: divide her morning hydration into smaller sips, consuming the first portion slowly and spacing the rest out over the first hour of her morning. Within a week, Ruth reported that the dizzy spells had vanished. She felt more stable and, surprisingly, more genuinely hydrated throughout the morning. So what is the more physiologically attuned and wiser approach? Begin with a few gentle sips, perhaps just a quarter of a cup, around 2 to 4 ounces. Allow your body a few minutes to register this intake. Perhaps walk around a little, let your internal systems fully awaken. Then, gradually finish your desired amount of water over the next 30 to 45 minutes. This methodical approach gives your kidneys, your digestive organs, and your cardiovascular system the necessary time to activate and respond in a synchronized, harmonious manner. You'll likely find you feel steadier, more comfortable, and paradoxically, your body will actually absorb and utilize the water more effectively. And rest assured, you're not falling behind on your hydration goals. You're simply partnering with your body's natural rhythms instead of imposing an abrupt demand. As with so many aspects of well-being, especially as we embrace life after 60, a slower, steadier, and more mindful approach often yields the most beneficial and sustainable results. That was our first critical insight into morning hydration. If you found this explanation about pacing your morning water intake helpful and can see how this small adjustment could make a difference in your day, please comment with the number 1 below to let us know. We love to hear what resonates with you. 2. The chill factor. Why starting your day with cold water can hamper digestion and constrict circulation. A tall glass of ice-cold water might seem like the ultimate refresher, especially on a warm morning or when you're feeling a bit groggy. The invigorating chill feels like it should jolt you awake. However, if you're over 60, that icy drink, particularly as the very first thing to enter your system, could be subtly undermining your body's efforts to start the day smoothly. When it comes to our internal environment, especially one that is just emerging from a night of rest and repair, temperature plays a more significant role than many realize. The truth is, cold water can act as a brake on key physiological processes that your body needs to gently accelerate in the morning. When you ingest cold water, especially on an empty stomach, it can cause the blood vessels lining your stomach and intestines to constrict. This tightening effect, known as vasoconstriction, makes the initial stages of digestion less efficient. Your body must expend valuable energy to warm the cold liquid up to body temperature before it can be properly processed and before your digestive enzymes can work optimally. This diversion of energy means your system is working harder just to achieve equilibrium, delaying not only the absorption of the water itself, but also potentially affecting how efficiently your body processes your first meal of the day if you eat breakfast shortly thereafter. Imagine trying to start a car on a freezing morning. It takes more effort and time for the engine to warm up and run smoothly. Your digestive system experiences a similar challenge with a sudden influx of cold. This impact isn't confined to digestion. Cold water consumed first thing in the morning can also have a noticeable effect on your overall circulation. As we age, our blood vessels naturally tend to become somewhat less elastic. They may not expand and contract with the same youthful responsiveness. Introducing cold water can prompt these vessels, particularly in the periphery, to constrict further. This can manifest as your hands and feet feeling colder than usual, a sensation that might linger. For some, it can even contribute to a slightly slowed heart rhythm or a general feeling of sluggishness that's hard to shake off for the rest of the morning. Your body is essentially trying to conserve heat in its core, and the extremities are often the first to feel this effect. Furthermore, there's a fascinating connection involving your vagus nerve, a major cranial nerve that interfaces with your brain and many vital organs, including your stomach, heart, and lungs. This nerve is quite sensitive to sudden temperature changes, especially in the throat and esophagus. When very cold water passes down, it can sometimes overstimulate the vagus nerve. For some individuals, this can lead to a transient drop in heart rate or a brief feeling of faintness. Most people would never trace such a fleeting sensation back to something as seemingly benign as the temperature of their morning water. Yet it can be a contributing factor. Frank, a 76-year-old veteran from Arizona, had a long-standing habit of starting his day with a large glass of ice water, believing it was the quickest way to feel alert. However, he frequently experienced uncomfortable bloating, his stomach would often gurgle audibly, and his hands remained stubbornly cold, even by mid-morning. During a visit to family overseas, he was introduced to the custom of drinking lukewarm water in the morning. He decided to try it upon his return. The change, he reported, wasn't dramatically instantaneous, but over a week or two, he noticed a significant reduction in bloating, less stomach noise, and his hands felt warmer. "I just felt better," he said, "more balanced, less jarred." The ideal temperature for your morning water, therefore, is one that is closer to your body's own temperature, typically described as lukewarm or room temperature. This generally falls in a range that feels neutral to the touch, neither hot nor noticeably cold. This gentle warmth encourages healthy circulation, supports a smoother digestive startup, and allows for more efficient absorption without forcing your body to expend extra energy. It's a seemingly small adjustment, but when practiced consistently, it can contribute to a greater sense of internal calm and physical comfort. Remember, your body has spent the night in a state of rest, repair, and relative coolness. What it needs first thing isn't a shock to the system, but rather gentle support. Something grounding that signals a smooth transition into the day. A glass of warm water, perhaps with a thin slice of lemon, or even just plain room temperature water, sends a profoundly different, more welcoming message to your internal systems than a jarringly cold drink. So if you're aiming to support your digestion, improve your circulatory comfort, or simply begin your day with a greater sense of ease and clarity, consider leaving the ice cubes for later in the day. Your stomach, your blood vessels, and indeed your overall sense of well-being will likely thank you for it. Understanding water temperature is key to a comfortable start to your day. What are your thoughts on warm versus cold water in the morning? Have you noticed a difference yourself? Share your preference or any experiences by commenting with the keyword temperature. We're keen to learn from your observations. 3. The unseen contaminants, overlooking your water source and container safety. There's an inherent trust we place in the water we drink, especially the first glass of the day. We turn on the tap or reach for our bedside carafe, assuming the contents are clean, pure, and beneficial. However, as we accumulate more birthdays, this unquestioning faith might need a second look. The truth is, if you're drinking water first thing in the morning, without a conscious thought to its precise source or the conditions under which it was stored overnight, you could inadvertently be introducing elements that do your body more harm than good. Let's begin with the source itself. Many homes, particularly older structures, may still have plumbing systems with pipes that contain lead, copper that has corroded, or an accumulation of sediment and biofilm from years, even decades of use. If water has been sitting stagnant in these pipes overnight, a common scenario, the first draw from the faucet in the morning might carry a higher concentration of these undesirable particles or dissolved metals. This is especially critical when consuming water on an empty stomach, as absorption rates can be higher, meaning your body might take in more of these contaminants. This concern is amplified for individuals relying on private well water, where quality can vary significantly based on geology and potential environmental factors, and regular testing is paramount. Even municipal water, while treated, can sometimes experience fluctuations in quality or pick up contaminants from the last mile of plumbing within the home. Then there's the matter of the container. Many people, for convenience, leave a glass or a plastic bottle of water by their bedside to drink immediately upon waking. While this forethought is commendable for ensuring hydration is at hand, the storage method deserves scrutiny. Have you ever peered closely at the bottom of that glass after it has sat out all night? Or noticed a slightly stale or off taste to the water? Overnight, uncovered water is exposed to airborne dust particles, microorganisms, and even bacteria from your own breath and mouth if you took a sip before sleeping. While a healthy immune system might handle minor exposures, for older adults whose immune responses may not be as robust as they once were, this can introduce a low-level challenge. The issue of plastic bottles is particularly noteworthy. If you're reusing a single-use plastic bottle multiple times, or even using a reusable plastic bottle that is old or has been exposed to heat, like being left in a car, there's a genuine concern about chemicals leaching from the plastic into the water. Compounds like bisphenol A, BPA, and phthalates, known endocrine disruptors, are common in some plastics. This leaching process can be accelerated by factors such as the age of the bottle, exposure to sunlight or heat, and the acidity of the contents, though water is generally neutral. The subtle, cumulative effects of these chemicals are a growing area of health research. These are often silent risks. The body, particularly one that has efficiently filtered and detoxified for many decades, might initially tolerate these small exposures. However, what it once managed with ease can, over time, contribute to mild discomfort, unexplained digestive upset, a subtle metallic taste, or even low-grade inflammation in the gut. Because these effects are often so gradual and nonspecific, most people would never link them back to the water they drank first thing that morning. Ellen, a thoughtful 68-year-old from Virginia, shared her story. She used to keep a decorative pitcher of water by her bedside, refilling her glass from it each morning. She began experiencing a persistent, mild sore throat upon waking, and a peculiar, slightly stale taste in her mouth that lingered. After a routine checkup revealed no obvious cause, her doctor, delving into her daily habits, suggested she try an experiment. Switch to using freshly poured water each morning from a clean, covered glass container. Within just a few days, Ellen reported that the sore throat had disappeared, and the unpleasant taste was gone. It wasn't the water quality from her tap that was the primary issue. It was how long it had been sitting exposed and what it might have picked up during that time. So, what practical steps can you take to ensure your morning water is truly a source of health? First, if you're using tap water, make it a habit to let the faucet run for about 15 to 30 seconds before filling your glass. This helps to flush out any water that has been sitting stagnant in your home's pipes overnight, along with any particulate matter it might contain. Second, if you prefer to keep water by your bedside, use a clean, covered container, preferably made of glass or high-quality stainless steel. Rinse this container thoroughly every day and refill it with fresh water before bed. Or, better yet, fill it fresh in the morning. Avoid repeatedly reusing disposable plastic bottles not designed for long-term use. Third, consider your water quality. If you have concerns about your tap water, investing in a good quality water filter, such as an activated carbon filter for chlorine and some particulates, or a more comprehensive system like reverse osmosis if specific contaminants are a known issue, can provide peace of mind. If you use well water, ensure it's tested regularly by a certified laboratory. These might seem like minor details in the grand scheme of a daily routine, but they accumulate in importance, especially when your morning hydration sets the physiological tone for your entire day. Your water should be a source of pure hydration and support, not a silent introducer of unwelcome elements. When you begin to treat your morning water with the same thoughtful care you give to selecting fresh, wholesome food, you'll notice the difference. Not just in how you feel physically, but also in the profound peace of mind that comes from knowing you're actively protecting and nurturing yourself from the inside out. The safety of your water source and how you store it are paramount for reaping the true benefits of morning hydration. Have you ever considered these aspects of your water container or source in detail before? We'd love to hear if this was new or reaffirming information for you. Let us know by commenting with the number 3. And if you're finding this deep dive into healthy habits valuable, please consider supporting our work by hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. Don't forget to click the notification bell so you don't miss out on future content designed to empower your well-being. Your support is what allows us to continue creating and sharing these insights. 4. The dilution dilemma. Drinking water before food can flush nutrients and interfere with medications. There's a widely circulated belief that drinking a significant amount of water first thing in the morning acts as an internal rinse cycle, effectively flushing out toxins and resetting your body for the day. While maintaining hydration is undeniably crucial for all bodily functions, including detoxification processes carried out by the liver and kidneys, there's a nuanced flip side to the timing and volume of morning water intake, especially if it precedes any food, vitamins, or medications. This is a critical consideration for everyone, but particularly for older adults who may be managing their health with daily medications or who are more sensitive to digestive shifts. When you consume a large quantity of water on a completely empty stomach, especially if it's the very first substance your system encounters after a 7 to 8 hour overnight fast, it can temporarily dilute your stomach acid. Gastric acid, primarily hydrochloric acid, HCl, is absolutely vital. It's not just for breaking down food, it's essential for sterilizing what you ingest, activating digestive enzymes like pepsin, which breaks down proteins, and, crucially, for ensuring your body can properly absorb a range of essential nutrients. Without sufficient stomach acid concentration at the right time, even if you consume a nutrient-rich breakfast shortly after your water, your body may struggle to efficiently extract and utilize important vitamins and minerals, such as vitamin B12, which requires intrinsic factor, whose release is stimulated by food and an acidic environment, calcium, iron, and magnesium. These nutrients often require an acidic environment for optimal absorption, but the implications extend beyond nutrient uptake. Many older adults rely on daily morning medications for managing conditions like high blood pressure, thyroid disorders, high cholesterol, osteoporosis, or diabetes. They might also take daily supplements. If these pills are taken with a large volume of water before any food has entered the stomach, several things can happen. The medication may transit through the stomach and into the small intestine too quickly, potentially before it has had adequate time to dissolve and be absorbed as intended. Some medications are designed for slower release or require specific pH conditions in the stomach for optimal absorption. A large bolus of water can alter these conditions or hasten the drug's passage, potentially reducing its overall bioavailability and, consequently, its effectiveness. You might not be getting the full therapeutic benefit you're supposed to receive. Furthermore, some individuals may experience a sensation of queasiness or mild stomach discomfort after taking pills with water on an empty stomach. This isn't merely bad luck or an unavoidable side effect for everyone. It can be a direct signal from your stomach that it's unprepared or irritated. Certain medications are known to be irritating to the stomach lining, and taking them without the buffering effect of food can exacerbate this. Over time, this repeated mild irritation could potentially contribute to more persistent discomfort or even conditions like gastritis, which might then be mistakenly attributed solely to getting older, when in fact, a simple adjustment in routine could mitigate it. Let me share the experience of Joseph, a 73-year-old from Illinois. He was diligent about taking his blood pressure medication every morning with a tall glass of water, just as he thought his doctor had instructed. However, he frequently felt a bit lightheaded about an hour later, and his breakfast never seemed to sit quite right, often leaving him with a sense, G-normal, of unease. During a consultation with a nutritionist who reviewed his entire daily routine, a suggestion was made. Try eating a small, light bite of something, like half a banana or a single piece of dry toast, before taking his pills and his main glass of water. He was also advised to sip his water more gradually. Joseph implemented these changes. The difference, he reported, was noticeable within days. He felt more stable, his breakfast was more comfortable, and the morning lightheadedness significantly reduced. He realized that the empty stomach instruction for his medication didn't necessarily mean an absolutely empty stomach if it caused him issues, but rather not taking it with a heavy meal that could interfere with absorption in other ways. If you are someone who prefers the sensation of drinking water before eating, and many people do, it doesn't mean you have to abandon this entirely. The key is awareness and moderation. How much water, how quickly, and critically, how it interacts with any medications or supplements you take. You don't have to choose between hydration and effective medication. You simply need to be strategic. Try starting your morning with just a few sips of water to moisten your mouth and throat. Then, consume a small amount of light food, perhaps a few spoonfuls of plain oatmeal, a boiled egg, a few unsalted crackers, or a small piece of fruit. This provides a gentle buffer for your stomach. After this, you can take your medications with a moderate amount of water, and then continue to hydrate more fully as your morning progresses. This approach helps your body maintain electrolyte balance, supports more effective nutrient digestion from your subsequent breakfast, and keeps your stomach environment more stable and calm for medication absorption. The appealing idea that more water equals more cleansing is an oversimplification. Your body's sophisticated detoxification systems, primarily the liver and kidneys, operate continuously and don't require a sudden power wash with plain water on an empty stomach to function. They need consistent hydration, yes, but also balanced nutrition and overall good health. The goal for morning hydration should be to support these systems gently, not to inadvertently disrupt other equally important processes like digestion and medication efficacy. It's about balance, timing, and above all, listening to your body's needs rather than blindly following a generalized rule. This insight into how water interacts with nutrients and medications is so often overlooked, yet it can have a significant impact on daily well-being and long-term health. If you've gained a new perspective on this, particularly if you take morning medication or supplements, please comment with the number 4 below. Your interaction is invaluable, as it helps us understand what topics resonate most deeply with you and where we can provide further helpful information. 5. The static start, relying solely on water to awaken the body, instead of incorporating movement. Many people operate under the assumption that the simple act of drinking water first thing in the morning will, like flipping a switch, automatically energize their system and prepare it for the day ahead. While water is absolutely essential for rehydrating the body after a night of rest and plays a role in metabolic processes, it's not the complete panacea for morning grogginess, especially as we age. If you're over 60 and find yourself depending on that glass of water alone to kickstart your day, you might be missing out on one of the most vital components of true morning wellness: gentle, intentional movement. Consider what happens overnight. Your circulation naturally slows, your joints can stiffen from inactivity, your digestive processes pause or significantly decelerate, and your core body temperature tends to drop slightly. Drinking water, even when done mindfully respecting temperature and pace, can only achieve so much if you remain sedentary. For instance, sitting in a chair, or worse, returning to lie down for an extended period immediately afterward. It is the incorporation of movement, gentle, consistent, and purposeful movement, that truly serves as the catalyst to awaken your heart, your muscles, your lymphatic system, and your metabolism. Think of a still pond versus a flowing stream. A pond that remains stagnant can become murky and depleted of oxygen, while a stream that flows is clear, aerated, and vibrant. Your body's internal environment, in many ways, needs that same principle of gentle flow to signal its myriad systems that it's time to transition from rest to activity. This is profoundly true for the digestive system. Without some accompanying physical movement, water can sometimes just sit in the stomach, especially if there's no food yet to encourage peristalsis, the wave-like muscular contractions that move contents through the digestive tract. This stasis is why some individuals report feeling bloated, gassy, or experiencing a sense of sluggishness, even after diligently following what they believe are all the right hydration rules for their morning routine. Mild physical activity, such as simple stretches performed while still in bed, a slow walk around your home, or even performing gentle arm circles and shoulder rolls while seated, works wonders. This type of movement stimulates blood flow, encouraging oxygen and your recently ingested water to reach your organs and tissues more effectively. When you thoughtfully combine hydration with movement, your body's response is amplified. Your kidneys awaken more readily to filter and process fluids. Your bowels receive a gentle nudge to begin their daily rhythm. Your skin may feel warmer and more alive as circulation improves, and your overall energy levels tend to rise in a more sustained and natural way, without relying on stimulants like caffeine or sugar. Take the experience of Martin, an 80-year-old from Wisconsin. He shared that his previous morning ritual involved sipping water while seated in his recliner, patiently waiting to feel more alert and energetic. However, he often felt groggy and somewhat stuck until mid-morning. After learning about the crucial synergy between hydration and movement, particularly for older adults, he began a new habit. While sipping his warm water, he would take a few slow laps around his living room and kitchen. He incorporated gentle neck stretches and arm swings. It became his daily wake-up walk and sip. Within just 1 week of this simple change, Martin reported that his mornings felt significantly lighter. His digestion seemed more regular and comfortable, and his overall sense of alertness improved much earlier in the day. It's essential to emphasize that this isn't about engaging in strenuous exercise first thing in the morning, unless that is already an established and comfortable part of your routine. It's not about raising your heart rate to peak levels or working up a sweat before breakfast. Rather, it's about the mindful reintroduction of motion into a body that has been largely still for many hours. That simple act of standing up, walking to the kitchen with intention, stretching your arms overhead, or gently rotating your torso does more to enhance your circulation and distribute that morning water effectively than the water could ever achieve on its own in a static body. The key takeaway here is profound yet simple. Hydration works in concert with your body's other physiological needs, not as a standalone replacement for them. A glass of water, however perfectly chosen and consumed, is only one part of the complex wake-up process. It's the fuel, but movement is a critical part of the ignition system. So, tomorrow morning, as you reach for your glass of water, also reach for the habit of gently moving your body. Let the water provide the fluid support for your awakening energy, but let your conscious, gentle steps and stretches be the conductors that carry that support to every cell and system that needs it. You will almost certainly feel the difference, not just in your digestion or immediate energy levels, but in the overall rhythm and vitality with which you begin your day. Pairing hydration with gentle movement, a simple yet powerful combination for a vibrant morning. Has this inspired you to add a little more motion to your morning ritual, or perhaps to view your existing movements in a new light? Share your favorite gentle morning movement in the comments below, or simply type movement to show you're on board with this holistic approach. We truly appreciate your engagement and the community we're building here. Final thoughts: reclaiming your mornings, one mindful sip at a time. By now, it's likely become clear that the seemingly straightforward act of drinking water in the morning is layered with nuances that, when understood and respected, can profoundly influence our daily well-being. When approached thoughtfully, it can indeed support your body in remarkable ways. However, when this ritual is guided by common myths, rushed routines, or a one-size-fits-all mentality, it can, quietly and incrementally, make your mornings, and potentially your overall health, more challenging than they need to be. We've journeyed through 5 common yet often overlooked misunderstandings: the pitfalls of drinking too much water too quickly on an empty system, the surprising impact of cold temperatures on digestion and circulation, the hidden risks in an unexamined water source or storage container, the potential for inadvertently flushing away vital nutrients or diminishing medication effectiveness, and finally, the incompleteness of relying on water alone without the crucial partnership of gentle movement. Each of these habits often springs from the best of intentions, a desire to be healthy and proactive. Yet, they can leave you feeling off balance, inexplicably tired, bloated, lightheaded, or with a subtly unsettled system. Effects that can be particularly noticeable if you are navigating life over 60, when the body often communicates its needs with greater clarity and less tolerance for imbalance. As you reflect on these insights, what stood out to you the most? Was there a particular habit that you recognized in your own morning routine, or perhaps an aspect of your body's response to water that now makes more sense? The purpose of this exploration is not to evoke guilt or regret about past practices, but rather to empower you with deeper understanding and practical tools to feel demonstrably better moving forward. That truly is the most precious gift of knowledge. It gives us back a measure of control, allowing us to make informed choices that align with our body's wisdom. At this stage in life, the goal isn't to force things or to adhere rigidly to advice that doesn't quite fit. Instead, it's about discovering what works harmoniously for you. Gentler, smarter approaches that are finely tuned to what your unique body needs today, not necessarily what might have worked 3 decades ago. This principle of compassionate self-awareness is the heart of today's message. So, as a new morning dawns, consider it an invitation to experiment with these refinements. Take your time. Start slowly with your hydration. Choose warm or room temperature water instead of an icy jolt. Allow your body to awaken with gentle movement before, during, and after you sip. If you take medications, be mindful of timing and consider a small, light bite of food as a buffer. And always, take a moment to ensure your water is fresh and from a clean, safe source and container. Most importantly, pause to appreciate the profound act of self-care you are engaging in, giving your body the kindness, respect, and thoughtful support it has so richly earned over the years. Thank you for dedicating your time and attention to this important discussion. We genuinely believe that these small shifts can lead to significant improvements in how you experience your mornings and your overall vitality. We would be honored to hear from you. Please take a moment to leave a comment below, sharing one key insight you learned today, and perhaps how you envision incorporating it into your life. Your thoughts, experiences, and questions are incredibly important to us and to the wider community. They provide motivation, encouragement, and an opportunity for collective learning. If you found this video insightful and believe it has brought value to you, please show your appreciation by hitting the like button, subscribing to our channel, and, crucially, turning on the notification bell. This ensures you won't miss out on future content designed to inform, inspire, and empower you on your journey to optimal health and well-being. Your support is the bedrock that allows us to continue creating and sharing meaningful content. Thank you once again for watching, for engaging, and for being part of this community. We look forward to connecting with you in the comments and seeing you in the next video. May your mornings be filled with vitality, comfort, and mindful presence.